garage and adventures again. Just went and picked up a $45 whipper snipper. I'm gonna get back into mowing the lawn. I'll show you what I've just gone and grabbed. Here it is, just an old Talon. Nothing special. Sorry about the mess in the back. We've got some other things to sort out as well, as you can see. Now the guy I bought it off just said it just suddenly stopped working and he's not mechanical, so he doesn't know what to do with it. So he sold it for $45. So what I'm going to do is have a look at some things. First one will be we'll take the spark plug out, see what that looks like. You can see here as well, I think that's actually the air filter. Obviously at some point that's come off and they've just taped it back on. When you've got an engine, the three main things you normally need for them to start is fire, air, fuel. Those three things should get it started. So we'll check over it and we'll see how we go. Righto, we've got the fire component out, the spark plug, and as you can see, pretty filthy. So what we'll do first is give that a bit of a tidy up, and then we'll earth it onto the chassis of the motor, give it a pull and make sure it actually has some spark. That's sort of step one, make sure that we've got some fire. Righto, this might be hard to see, but we'll see if this will work. I did actually see that one in the camera. As you can see, we've got spark, so that's a good sign. Got fire. Now we've got to check some other things. Just another one to think about. Whenever you're testing the start plug like that, make sure your run switch is on. If it's off, you're not going to get spark, even if something is perfectly fine. If you've forgotten to do this, you're not going to get spark when you try and check it. So make sure you've got that set to run when you're trying to do that test. Fuel. There is some fuel in there, but looks pretty old, looks pretty stale. There's some bugs and some other stuff in it. So what we'll do, put a little bit of fresh fuel in there. He'd actually written to say that this is actually a 4-stroke mower. I'm not convinced that it is. So we'll need to check to see if we need to put some 2-stroke oil in this as well. And there we go. We've got a fuel mix ratio of 25:1. That's pretty much a guarantee that this needs 2-stroke oil. So that could potentially be why this had some issues, because it may have ran hot and destroyed some things, but we'll soon find out. Some other good practices with these when you get them. So, whoop, see we've got some fuel leaks, so maybe that's part of the problem. But also, put some fresh fuel in, shake it around and just agitate it in the tank, because what we want to do is actually just try and clean any of the extra shit that's in the bottom of the tank there. Now, as you probably saw when I shook the tank before, had a bit of fuel spill out, and one of the things I said before that we need, fuel, air, fire. We've got fire. We will have fuel in this tank soon, but as you can probably see here, the fuel lines off the tank have snapped. So this is probably one of the key reasons why this thing stopped working. Luckily, the hoses that go into the tank, you can pull up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is try and get the old hose off the little sections here and then reattach them, and then we'll see how we go. Well, we've hit a bit of a snag. These hoses are pretty much ruined. So when I tried to reattach them, they just went to shit anyway. Now, one of the things that will tend to happen with plastic or like these rubber style hoses is if you use E10 fuel, which a lot of people do, think it's perfectly safe. It's really not safe for things like motorbikes or carbureted stuff where they've got these old style hoses, because it breaks them down. And this sort of thing happens, tears the hose. So I think I might have some spare, fuel hose around here that I might be able to actually use to replace it. So we'll see what I can find. Okay, so got some fuel lines back on. One of them has a filter on it. It's the one on the right hand side with the bigger inlet, and the other one's just a return. So when you actually use the pump to actually pump some fuel in, if it fills up too much, just goes straight out that return back into the fuel bottle. The side did break off, but basically all this is your air inlet. So at the moment that's in the choke position, and there you goes the rest of it, and then there's your open. So we'll sort this out with a little box afterwards, but basically we should be able to test now, can we get it to run? Because we should have fuel that's actually going to keep flowing into the carburetor, got air coming in through, if you leave the choke open, got air going in through there, via the spark plug. So at this point we should be able to get it to run. Let's give it a crack. Alright, let's see. I'm not sure if anyone can see it via this camera angle, but let's try it. There we go, you can see the fuel coming in. Actually, that's the fuel going out because we've put too much in. That's what we want, that's what we want to see. Choke's on. Set to run. Let's give it a crack. No. Bit of a start there, that's not a bad sign. Open the choke up. Not bad at all. There you go, running fine. $45, get a hose. And our off switch works. There you go. There's the three things you need to worry about. Fuel, fire, air. Have those three things, your engine's not completely seized, you should be right. Cheers. Hope everyone's found out something that they can keep their garden tools running a little bit longer. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to see all other stupid videos that I make.